This is another one of those streams where I'm blaming people who, well, are a small part of a very big problem. Now, the first thing I'm going to start with is we're gonna take some of these stories here. This is Elijah McClain. Now I'm going to post these stories up for you, and then after I've posted them up, I'm going to explain it. This is an article about Elijah McClain and the officers that killed him. They're being charged with homicide. They will probably, I don't have anything recent on this story. This is from September 1st of 2021. So these officers and the paramedics who administer drugs that are known to kill people, these drugs were put into me before they were ever put into Elijah McClain. Now here's another one, August 30th of 2019. You know, this guy was killed for being disabled. 51% of those who were killed by police in 2019 were disabled. What year did he die? 2019. He accounts for two different criteria. See, first of all, he's disabled. Second of all, well, he is black. Now, those criteria mean different things. Him being disabled puts him in the number one spot for being killed by police. Although, if you did it per capita, for the size of the population, the homeless are killed at a much higher rate. The homeless are killed at a rate of, now I could be slightly wrong about this, but they're killed at a rate of around one homeless person every year for every 1,100 homeless people. That's a lot of people. Black people aren't killed at nearly anything close to that rate. You're looking at one in every 400,000. If you're looking at the highest numbers, you're looking at one in about 250,000 on the lowest numbers. Now, if you put those numbers together, 51% and 22%, we're looking at what, 73%? A 73% chance of getting killed by the cops. Now, obviously, these numbers being is if you take 51% for the disabled people and 49% for the homeless people and 22% for black people, you're looking at 122%. Well, that's because there are people like myself and people like Elijah McClain who fit more than one category. The homeless, with only a population of 500,000, that's 1/120th the size of the black population, and 1/120th the size of the disabled population. Their numbers are almost equal. There are almost as many homeless people killed every year as there are disabled people. And there are 120 times more disabled people than homeless people. Elijah McClain, he was killed by an injection of drugs because he was exhibiting autistic traits. Meanwhile, this article from Wikipedia, well, it's not saying anything about it. I've gone through quite a bit of it. We haven't gotten to that part yet. We have not gotten to the part, and I'm reading it. Says he was declared brain dead. It still hasn't mentioned that he was autistic. It's still not saying it. Maybe it'll say it through here eventually at some point. But the fact is, yes, Elijah McClain was autistic, just like me. When I told about how I was treated in a Boulder County hospital in Colorado, about how I was injected with these drugs that are known to kill people, I got blown off. My friends wouldn't share the story. They didn't fucking care. But then those very same friends, when Elijah McClain died, they wanted to talk about how sad it is and how horrible it is. It didn't matter that I went through those things. It didn't matter that those things were horrible to do to me. I'm not black, so I don't matter. There's a woman from Hungary. Her name is Kinga Nichols. She was a good friend of mine. She used to work at the pedestrian shop in Boulder. She gave me $100 right before Natalie was killed. That $100 was so I could see my therapist here in Nebraska, whose name is Nicole Peralta. I was going to that therapist and a therapist in Colorado and jumping hoops that they told me that I need to jump through in order to get help stopping the abuse. Didn't work out so good. Elijah McClain, I was victimized in the county that he was killed in. Aurora. Where was I when Natalie was killed? I was in Aurora. I was 5 blocks from where Natalie got shot in the head. I was at Kayla Trujillo's place in specific in Aurora, Colorado. Why was I there? To try to get help getting a fucking attorney so I could defend myself instead of getting the mentally ill treatment, which has killed many people, including Elijah McClain. If my friends had spoke up about how horrible it is to treat people like this and how horrible it is to put life-threatening drugs into another human being, knowing full well that it could kill them, that it is dangerous, that in more often than not, it does more harm than good. If my friends had actually spoken up, Elijah McClain would not have been killed. If they'd have made a big deal about the police doing this to me, instead of ignoring it, there would have been attention for how autistic people are treated when they try to get help. About the drugs that are forced into us and the dangers of those drugs. I was lucky that I wasn't killed like TIBOR HETEI and Elijah McClain. The same drugs that killed both of those men were injected into me because I tried to turn in Waylon Lolatai. So now we're going to look that up. We're going to look up the name Waylon Lolatai. Let's see. Here you go. Let's see. Copy link address. We'll put this over here on the side for y'all. Blam. That's about, well, our good friend, Officer Waylon Lolatai. Smells like there's a skunk here. Huh. There's even more on Waylon Lolatai. There's quite a bit. Some of these videos are pretty graphic, so you might have to have your adult settings on in order to do something. Here's another one on Waylon Lolatai. This is about his pattern of violence. He assaulted me in January of 2018. He assaulted no less than 6 other homeless individuals or people he assumed to be homeless in 2018. I've got videos where I speak with Miss Peaches, aka Kayla Trujillo. She knew Officer Lolatai. She informed me that Officer Lolatai had his gun taken away because he kept on assaulting homeless people. They took away his gun, and then they took away his taser. The man is a horrible excuse for a human being. There's a lot more to it, though. There's a guy named Mike Boudet. We'll type his name in here. Oh, here we go. Mike Boudet controversy. How Mike Boudet destroyed his own podcast. This one's pretty long, but I'm going to grab it again. Copy link address. I don't expect you to watch this whole thing. There's quite a few of them there. You can find all sorts of stuff about Mike Boudet. He's a horrible excuse for a human being. He told a story that was not true. He knew that it was not true, and him and his partner, Josh, worked together to pull the bullshit that they pulled. This shit is not fucking okay. Now let's continue. We're going to go to Clearview Behavioral Health. You remember when I told you that I was injected with drugs in a Boulder County hospital? The same drugs that killed TIBOR HETEI, the same drugs that killed ELIJAH MCCLAIN. I spoke out about these places and these peoples before anybody was killed. Same thing with Natalie Bollinger. Now we're going to type in the word Clearview Behavioral Health. Blam! Clearview Behavioral Health. And here we go. Colorado shuts down Clearview Behavioral Health Monday. Will seek to revoke license permanently. Well, lucky for us, they did close it permanently. Here's one from 10 months ago. Copy link address. It says patients were taken advantage of. Denver attorney on the closing of Clearview Behavioral Health. They killed TIBOR HETEI. They also injected me with those drugs months before TIBOR HETEI was killed by those very same drugs. TIBOR HETEI would still be alive if my friends had spoken up where it mattered and actually did some actual fighting. I'm not talking about fist fighting. I'm talking about fighting for our rights. See, here's the thing. These are not just my rights. Through my life, I've had assholes who used to be friends of mine, people like Brandon Edward Jepson. I went to school with him in Chapel, Nebraska. He makes excuses. He wanted to be a cop. He can't be a cop, but he wanted to be one. And he always takes the cop's side. That's why we stopped being friends many years ago. Now, I had some more stuff to say about Brandon, but, well, I love his sister. I love his mom. I love his dad. I love his brother, and I love him. There's a lot of really important things for me to say about him, and I'm going to make that an entire video of its own because it is that important. Copy link address. Hopefully this isn't one that I already put on there. It is. I'm sorry that I doubled up on that one. These things have been going on for a very long time. This one's from 2 years ago. I spoke out about this place all the way back in 2018. I was sent to Clearview because in Boulder County, I could still turn in Wayland Lolatai. So they shipped me out of Boulder County. I was assaulted by Wayland Lolatai. And they later had to drop the charges because I was the one who was fucking assaulted. They sent me to Clearview. And they held those charges as long as they could, but they eventually had to drop those charges. Do you know why? I was the one assaulted at Clearview, not the other way around. But that's how the system works. Police abuse the medical community to get what they want when somebody tries to turn them in. They abuse the laws and their positions to prevent their victims from being able to have an honest goddamn day in court. A lot of people in Chapel, Nebraska did exactly the same thing that the cops in Boulder, Colorado did, and the public in Boulder, Colorado did, and in Denver, Colorado, and in Aurora, Colorado. and in Haxton, Colorado. You got no idea how many of these officers that I've tried to turn in are now on their way to prison because they killed somebody. You saw it escalating. You knew that these people were up to no good. I told you what they were doing. You didn't want to listen, and now people are dead, King of Nickels. These people who pretended to be my friends killed Elijah McClain by not stepping forward when those things happened to me. They killed TIBOR HETEI by not caring when those things happened to me. They killed DEMETRIUS SHANKLING by not speaking up when those things happened to me. By making me go through it alone. Elijah McClain had a family who gave a shit. I don't. I spoke out multiple times before Natalie was killed about the abuse that I was going through. But everyone wanted to talk over me. That's how men are treated in this country. You listen to a woman, but a man you talk over. So you're so busy giving me advice, you're not listening to what the fuck is going on. You can listen to the conversations that I have, and I recorded them. They're on YouTube, many of them, not all of them, because some of them have very personal information. But there's enough here on this YouTube channel that you can tell that these places are full of shit. They keep telling me that it's not their job. It is literally nobody's job. All of these places have told me it's someone else's job. All of these places blow me off. I've got close to a dozen people that have known me for years who have admitted when they were recorded and put on my YouTube channel, so you guys can actually go back and listen to them. There's almost a dozen people who spoke up and said, hey, you're not schizophrenic. Obviously, I'm not schizophrenic. I'm pissed off. I'm overwhelmed. I am suffering from PTSD from long-term abuse. Meanwhile, I told on Clearview. Nobody listened. And now people are dead. I told on the Boulder Police Department and those officers who assaulted me there on multiple occasions. People didn't do a goddamn thing. Now DEMETRIUS SHANKLING is dead. That's right, I was at Clearview Behavioral Health where TIBOR HETEI was killed. That's right, I was in Aurora where Elijah McClain was killed. That is correct, sir. Now we're going to get to Natalie Bollinger. This is probably the one that hurts me the most. I've lost a lot of loved ones, a lot of them. Now, I'm going to post this one up. This is from Denver 7. This is a thing from a guy named, God, what is his name? Fuck it, it don't matter, honestly. He did a segment on Waylon Lolatai. Someone named that one, this one, typed hi. Hello, that one, this one. I remember you from some of my previous videos. You're one of those people who started off as a troll and turned out not to be a piece of shit. Thank you for that, by the way. This is from Denver 7. Denver 7 is one of the channels that helped to spread the slander about me, which resulted in multiple assaults against me and threats against my life, including by police officers, including officers in this town. Sorry, not officers. We don't have a police station here in Chapel, Nebraska. It's too small. We have the sheriff's department. And obviously, that's based on popularity, because a vote is based on popularity. Now we'll type in Natalie Bollinger. Now, repeatedly, when officers have done these things, oh, all right, there it is, Natalie Bollinger. Here's one from Rob Gavigan. This is about Natalie Bollinger, and it's mostly incorrect. Here is one of Natalie Bollinger's ex-stepmothers speaking in a video, and she just happens to be a predator as well. We're going to post this up here. Now we're going to post up a video. Let's see. Here's the one that shows that the guy who killed her is in prison. Now this one right here, the guy on the very front screen, his name is Ted Bollinger. He raped the shit out of Natalie Bollinger. Her dad is a sick son of a bitch. Now, I'm the one who takes the abuse as if I'm a child molester or a rapist. This guy actually raped his own daughters. So, yeah, he deserves the punishment. When he put his daughter at risk and tried to get her killed on my birthday in 2019, people were threatening to kill me, not Ted Bollinger. Now we'll type up ELIJAH Bollinger. Let's see what we come up with. Newport Richie undercover prostitution sting. Oh, that can't be it. That's from 8 years ago. Here's one about me. Now, this video is cut off because it starts off with me flipping off the camera as I walk out of the courthouse. This is about me being charged with assault for defending myself against Officer Whale and Lolatai. Meanwhile, I never hit him, I never kicked him, I never bit him. They accused me of assaulting them with a weapon and trying to bite them. I have 0 teeth. What the fuck am I going to bite them with? If my friends had listened to me and actually done something instead of giving me their pretty goddamn words, Natalie Bollinger would still be alive. All of these people would still be alive if somebody had done something when it made a difference. ELIJAH Bollinger missing. All right, that's exactly what we're looking for. Missing woman found in Wichita Thanks Community, KAKE, October 22nd, 2019. That's right, she was missing for days. So we'll show you this part. There's actually quite a few of them. Let's see, copy, paste. This is about ELIJAH Bollinger going missing. She went missing on October 18th of that year. October 18th, my birthday. My birthday in 2018, I was lied to by my public pretenders. I was supposed to be released, and upon release, I was going to go across the street and fill out paperwork to turn in my public pretenders and the judge. But they had lied to me because they knew that if they got me out of jurisdiction, I couldn't fill out that paperwork. Fucking pieces of shit. Now, if you guys knew the full story, oh my God. Now, here's one from me from when Natalie Bollinger's sister disappeared. When ELIJAH Bollinger went missing, I made some videos. It was freezing in Rapid City, South Dakota. And these are short because I could only record a little tiny bit of time on my phone. That one, this one, it's good to see you. Here's another one. Copy link address. At first, I thought she was missing in Colorado. Turns out that her and her dad decided to do a bunch of meth and go get chased by police across multiple states, Oklahoma and Kansas. Neither one of them were supposed to be out of the state of Colorado. Let's see, copy link address. Here's another one. Paste. There you go. There's a lot of these. Copy link address. When she went missing, I did my best to try to help find her. Despite the fact that people were getting a hold of me again to threaten to kill me. Again, because of something that I did not do, but Ted Bollinger did. The police in Wichita, Kansas did. They should have arrested ELIJAH Bollinger for her part in that high-speed drug-induced chase. But they didn't. She's a pretty white girl, so instead of taking her to jail, they gave her a hotel room. Holy fucking Christ. ELIJAH Bollinger is a terrible excuse for a human being. But despite that, she's still somebody that I care about. She's someone that I don't want anything bad happening to. And she's also someone that belongs in prison. Maybe if she goes to prison, she'll sober up. Maybe if she goes to prison, she'll have to experience the things that I had to go through because she lied. Maybe she'll make the connection between the horrible quantity of abuse that I have had to endure, because obviously she's got no goddamn clue. Now, there's a lot more stuff that I should probably put in here. It's getting to be a pretty long video, though, about 30 minutes long. I'm going to put one up in here. It's called, hold on a second, For Peaches the Liar. The important thing about this video is not the video itself. The video itself is just me complaining, me being unhappy. However, there are 116 links. Let's see. For Peaches the Liar. See if it'll show it now. Here it is. Copy link address. For Peaches the Liar. Paste. Now, like I said, this last video, it's not important. What is important is it says 116 comments. All 116 of those comments, let's see, newest first. There we go. We can see a whole bunch of them now. All 116 of those comments are links to actual conversations with witnesses. 116 of them. That's just witnesses to the situations. I've also got literally hundreds of videos of the actual situations themselves going down. We live in a sick world. These people are dead because when it made a difference, my friends didn't say a goddamn thing. They did not fight for my rights. They did not share my story the way that they shared Elijah McClain's. Most of them tried to pretend that I don't exist. They didn't bother looking at my side. They didn't bother looking at the evidence. Many of them took advantage of me and my situation. They took advantage of me financially. They took advantage of me emotionally. They made empty promises and said, if you do this or this or this, we'll help you. And then when I jumped through their hoops, it turned out that they were liars. They never intended to help me. They had this idea in their head that they were going to, but really they were too busy getting drunk or getting fucked up on methamphetamines. Obviously, they're not going to be helpful or useful. You goddamn right I speak out. It wasn't just my friends who killed these people. It was also these officers who killed these people. It was these institutions and facilities that killed these people. And it is the general public's complacency and lack of giving a shit that killed these people. If you had cared when I spoke up, if you had cared when they did it to me, it would have raised awareness that could have saved these people's lives, but you didn't because you are cowards. A coward is worse than a tyrant. Worse. Because a coward is just going to let it happen. If a tyrant sees somebody victimizing one of their friends, they're a tyrant. They're going to go fucking do something, and it's going to happen right fucking now. But a coward, when their friend is being victimized, they're going to watch. Or they're going to turn the other cheek because it's not happening to them, and they're going to walk the other way. Cowards are worse than tyrants. It is because of cowards that tyrants get away with it. A tyrant, that's right, a tyrant is better than a coward. Cowards are worse than rapists. Do you know why? Because rapists get away with their crimes because of cowards. When you are too much of a coward to tell on the man who raped somebody in front of you, you are just as guilty of that crime, if not more so. Because you could have and should have done something and you did nothing. Yes, you are worse than a rapist. You are a coward. I call you my friend because I love you. But that doesn't make you any less of a coward. That rapist got away with it because you said nothing. Because you did nothing to stop it. Even if you are the victim yourself. If you are rape your little sister or your little brother or your cousins or one of your friends who comes over for a sleepover. And those crimes are on you because you could have prevented them by putting up an actual fight. I have spoken out about my predators because I am not a coward. I have been abused repeatedly by law enforcement. I have been repeatedly assaulted by law enforcement. I have been locked up for crimes that I didn't commit, and I've been locked up for crimes that were not committed at all. And my predators got away with it because the bullies worked together. And the cowards watch it happen. King of Nichols, Brenda Dickinson, Laura Nelson. You let it happen. Derek Parrish. You let it happen. Joanna Taylor. You let it happen. Mark Swanigan. You let it happen. When Miss Jamie came to me about her abuse, between letting it continue and doing something to help her out, I helped her out. And I was victimized for it because she went right back to the guy who was beating on her. Right back to the guy that she needed a rescue from. Same thing with Jerry Sparks. Same thing with most of the women that I know. I understand you get lonely and you want to go back to what's familiar to you. Unfortunately, that's another beating. Meanwhile, it's good men like me who take the punishment and take the blame. And it's somehow magically okay. No, the fuck it's not. People are dead. How can you call yourself my friend when you did not speak up? I spoke up before these people were in the ground. I spoke up before they were killed. I spoke up before they were locked up. I spoke up over a year before these things happened to these other people. I spoke up over a year before Demetrius Shankling was killed. I spoke up over a year before ELIJAH MCCLAIN was killed. I spoke up over a year before TIBOR HETEI was killed. But it doesn't matter, does it? I don't matter because I'm still alive. I don't matter because I'm not dead. That's what this all comes down to. They could have done something about it before people were killed, but they were busy trying to hide the crimes of these very same officers, the exact same officers who killed ELIJAH MCCLAIN. Sorry, I take that back. The exact same officers who killed Demetrius Shankling. The exact same facility that killed TIBOR HETEI. And the same exact staff as well. Sure, my friends didn't pull the trigger. They didn't have to. All they had to do was ignore the abuse until I had to do something desperate to try to get help. Fuck this goddamn country. Fuck everyone who supports this shit. The victimization of the homeless and the disabled. You're ignoring them. But it's magically okay, isn't it? No, it's not. Police brutality is wrong. It's not just wrong when it happens to black people. It is wrong no matter who it happens to. Rape is not just wrong when it happens to women. It is wrong no matter who it happens to. Get that through your fucking head.